The last page. Lena didn't want the house. She'd only come back to her great-grandfather's place because the will required her to stay for 7 consecutive nights to inherit the property. A silly clause, the lawyer had said. But Old Man Thorne had always been eccentric, and the house, with its 3 stories and slate roof, was older than any family story she knew. It loomed at the end of a forgotten road, cloaked in pine shadows and fog. The stairs creaked under her boots as she stepped into the foyer for the first time in 20 years. Dust thickened the air like smoke. Portraits watched her from the walls with oil-painted eyes that never blinked. Something about the house felt paused, like a breath held too long. The first night passed uneventfully, save for the occasional groan of wood settling and the steady tick of the grandfather clock. Lena explored cautiously, lighting unused fireplaces and uncovering furniture. She slept poorly. On the second night, Lena entered the attic. The door was stiff and whined when she forced it open. The air was colder up there, heavy with the scent of old paper and something sweeter, decay. Sunlight filtered through a circular window dusted with grime. She wasn't sure what made her walk to the far end, where forgotten trunks and crates were stacked like tombstones. Something gleamed from under a moth-eaten cloth. She lifted it, revealing a small wooden chest. Inside lay a leather-bound book with no title. She brought it downstairs. The pages were brittle, yellowed. All were blank, except the last. Whoever reads this will awaken what sleeps below. Lena rolled her eyes. Great-grandfather's idea of a joke, or some antique curio. Either way, she left the book on the coffee table and forgot about it until the scratching started. It came from beneath the living room floor. Soft at first, like a mouse trapped behind a wall. She pressed her ear to the wood. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The rhythm seemed deliberate. That night she dreamed of whispers, faint and urgent, like voices underwater. She awoke sweating. The third night, the scratching grew louder. Lena pulled up a rug in the living room and discovered a floorboard slightly out of place. She pried it up with a fire poker. Below was darkness and another book. It looked identical to the first, leather-bound, unmarked. Hands trembling, she opened it. This one wasn't blank. It was filled with writing, her handwriting. She flipped through page after page, reading her own thoughts and actions in eerie detail, even things she hadn't spoken aloud. The last line read, "She stares into the dark, not knowing what waits beneath." Lena dropped the book. It landed face down, but she could still hear something whispering. Not from her mind, not from the house, but from the book itself. She tried to burn it in the fireplace. The flames curled around the pages, but did not consume them. Smoke filled the room, smelling not of ash, but rot. She tossed the book outside into the cold night. It was back on the coffee table the next morning. On the fourth day, Lena began to unravel. She avoided mirrors. She stopped eating. The portraits on the wall seemed to shift slightly when she passed. At night, she heard her name whispered in a voice like her mother's, but her mother had been dead for 12 years. The book had updated again. She stopped sleeping. Her mind begins to bend. The door in the basement is almost ready. Lena didn't remember a door in the basement, but she went anyway. The cellar stairs descended into black. The flashlight flickered. The air grew wet. The stone walls slick. In the far corner, behind an old boiler, she saw it. A small wooden door nailed shut with iron. Something moved behind it, scratching. She ran. But when she reached the living room, the floorboards began to pulse beneath her, breathing like a beast. She fled the house, stayed the night in her car, but even there, she dreamed of the book, of turning pages she couldn't stop, each one drawing her closer to the last. On the 6th night, she woke to find the book open on her chest. The ink was still wet. She sat paralyzed, reading. She returns to the basement. She pulls the nails from the door. She opens it. Lena screamed and threw the book across the room. But when she looked up, the basement door was wide open. Compelled by a force she couldn't name, she descended. The wooden door now stood ajar. Behind it, a narrow tunnel carved into the earth. She stepped inside, the walls closing in. She walked for what felt like hours, deeper and deeper. The air turned stale. Bones littered the path, animal and human. Whispers swarmed her ears, and always, the sound of pages turning. At the end of the tunnel was a chamber. In its center stood a pedestal. On it lay a third book. She opened it. It was blank, save the last page. She writes the final sentence, sealing her fate. The story ends when the last page is written. Lena turned around, but the tunnel was gone. Only darkness. She took the pen resting beside the book. Hands trembling, she wrote. And Lena was never seen again. As the ink dried, the world folded into black. The house at the end of the forgotten road remains empty. The door to the attic creaks open sometimes, even when no one is there. And if you ever find a leather-bound book with no title, don't read the last page. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.